till now, whatever a conversation build up happened, it happened more to the sense of a product based company, but product managers work in both the both kind of companies, right? Which are service based companies or those who have their own products. And this has been one question that everyone asks whenever we go out there, is there a difference in the role of a product manager when they are in a service based company or a product based company? So let's talk about product managers in service based company where you're catering to clients. How does it change, or does it actually change?
No, it does change, and I have had first-hand experience into it. When I started my PM career at Kulisa, right, and we were in that point of a service-based startup, which later moved into a product-based company. So the first product we built was for one of the oldest AMCs in India, mutual fund companies in India, right? And what happens in a service-based company? And this is the same question I asked my then manager. That what is the difference you think? And he had come from a product-based background and all of everything else. So it's very simple, right? The basics still remains the same, but technically, the company or your client becomes your primary customer, right? And the amount of access that you have to the consumers and the data of the consumers is something that you, as at times, you don't have it, right? So that's different at core. You will still go through the process of working on what needs to be done. But at every step, obviously, you need to get it approved by your client, because that's whom you're building for. And then the design goes, and again, from client side is different. The X n number of stakeholders. For us, there was legal back then. There was marketing. There was brand, everything. And generally, when clients work on this, when you are in service-based companies, your counterparts are generally from brand teams. So there was, at least at the time that I was working, it was a marketing thing that they picked up as that they need to enhance the image of the product, and they want to cater to then millennials for that matter, right? And hence the brand and marketing team picked it up. So the kind of stakeholders are different. The amount of they're also right. Your communication, or if you are influential enough, you can make that, you can get that their buy-ins. But a lot of times it's just he said what she said, because they are paying for it, and end up you have to follow what they are saying. And this is not everyone does that, right? There are a lot of times PM as a service-based companies will have much more weightage to others. But the thing is, once the product is shipped, there comes a drastic difference. In a product-based company, you are the owner of the product. The next level after the shipping, the data that comes in, the way you are looking at data, the insights, talking to your end users every now and then, getting the files sync close, that is something that is not there, or it's not that easy in service-based companies, because every time you have to talk to the customers, get the data from them, and then whatnot, right? So that the V0, after the V0 launch, right, the base product launch, then the life is very different. Their decision making, you're not able to influence their decision making because you're not part of it most of the times, right? So that is something that changes. But the basics or the early stage, more like it's still similar, but again, depends on what your client is driving for and what your client is aspiring for, and there onwards that conversation changes.
Okay, so mostly for a service-based company, what changes is the post-product launch. How do you deal with it as a product manager? But the initial part more or less remains the same. On how
the building part remains the same. The pre-ideation pieces
Correct.
are different, because that you don't get involved, because they would have thought about something.
Yeah.
Drafting things, it's still similar, because PRD is problem stated. But everything that you have a problem statement in drafting, every question that you have, you go to the stakeholder, which is in startups also, you go to your stakeholders. But here, you are the owner, right? So you have more skin in the game compared to say blatantly.